is the Emotion Connection, where you'll experience health through feeling. Explore emotion from a different perspective and learn to use your emotions to improve your day-to-day life. Introducing your host, speaker, author, mentor, and creator of emotional strength, Sharon Faye. Sharon heads up a successful business empowering leaders to bring about organizational development and cultural change. Get your senses ready as we delve into the many facets of emotion together. Over to Sharon.
Hello, my name is Sharon Faye and emotion is my thing. Today's podcast is learning how to feel. And the structure of this podcast is about what is feeling, learning how to feel. Feeling is not wallowing, and feeling versus analysing. So feeling's quite complex, even though it sounds simple. There are two types of feeling. The first type of feeling is sensations, and the second type of feeling is emotion. And I start with sensations because it's the easiest feeling to start with. For example, temperature, hot, warm, cold. If you accidentally touch a hot plate, it will burn you, and feeling heat is a form of protection. When you bump into a door, it will hurt or leave a bruise. When you run, your muscles can tighten. Your sensations are a message for you to take action. If the weather is too hot, you take off your jacket. Therefore, the sensations are very useful as they provide data so you can take the appropriate action. The second type of feeling is a bit more complex because you may have shut down your emotional feelings. We've been taught that negative emotion is bad for us. For example, depending on your family of origin or your education, you may have been taught that the emotion anxiety is not helpful or even dangerous. But I believe we need a certain amount of energy that we've labelled anxiety to run a 100-metre race. You know, if you need to sprint, you need that level of anxiety. And when anxiety is healthy and you have a capacity to feel this emotion, you can use it for high performance. Every person has a different capacity to feel. And feeling negative emotions, we've called them negative emotions, but I don't believe they're negative. It's just the label we've given them over thousands of years. And I believe that this negative emotion called anxiety can be helpful. Now, when I'm speaking, and people who know me understand this, but I'm not using anxiety as clinical in any sense. I'm talking about an energy in your body. It's high energy, it's a feeling. It's not at all clinical. I'm never ever talking about clinical things. These are just normal emotions that everyday healthy people feel. So just to make that point, it's a very important one. Parents teach their children to be scared with language such as, be careful, watch out, don't hurt yourself. It's too high. And a cautious parent is role modelling fear without even knowing it. The parent thinks that they're protecting the child, but the children actually have a very good sense of danger and have a very good sense of when something's too high or something's too fast. They'll adjust their behaviour accordingly. And this example applies to all emotion. For instance, healthy anger, I don't mean anger as in violence, right? People get a bit confused with this. Healthy anger is a feeling, just like the anxiety is high energy, it's in your body. I'm not referring to behaviour or actions, I'm talking about the feeling in your body. Healthy anger is useful for creating boundaries. So when a colleague at work is rude to you, a feeling of anger can help you speak up in the moment and offer a different perspective. The complexity that happens with so-called negative emotion is that if your capacity to feel is low, which most of you are, you're not used to feeling in the way that I mean it. If it's low, you may act out. Now, acting out is not a feeling, it's a behaviour. So when you act out, it's only because you are beyond your capacity to feel. And acting out can range from minor to dangerous and everything else in between. What we want to do is build a strong capacity. Remember the analogy at the gym, building a strong muscle here for all emotion. For example, a minor type of acting out might be using a dismissive gesture when your friend is sharing with you. You might roll your eyes, or you might tit, go, or scrolling through your phone when your partner is attempting to connect with you. A destructive form of acting out might be domestic violence or smacking your children. That's quite extreme. Even yelling at someone is awful, and it happens a lot. If you find yourself in a yelling situation, it's not about stopping it, it's about bringing your awareness to the moment and realise that you are yelling, because often we're doing all these things without even any awareness at all. So you realise you're yelling and you just stop, because some part of you knows you're acting out. And what we need to get back to is feeling. So you stop the yelling and you feel the energy in your body. And your response in that moment just completely changes. It's amazing. You should try it. If you find yourself in a yelling situation, just feel the energy in your body. It's really quite remarkable. So learning how to feel takes a bit of practice, and all these concepts seem simple, but they're certainly not easy, and they're certainly not easy in being consistent with the practice, right? The first step is to understand the reasons feeling is important and bring awareness to the feeling, whatever it is. There's no right or wrong ways of feeling. I don't really believe in positive and negative emotion. That's just our judgment. But everyone is different, so your ways of feeling will be different. It is sometimes easier to start with feeling sensations like your bum in the chair and your feet on the floor. I use that quite a lot. But when you're feeling your feet on the floor, it's right now. It's not thinking about your feet on the floor. It's actually feeling them in the moment. And I always say that there are 36,400 moments in a 24-hour period. So there's plenty of opportunities to practice feeling in each moment. And even when you're aware, if you're aware, for 10 of those 36,000 moments each day, you're doing well. So when you judge yourself as not feeling enough or you haven't done it right, just be aware that you're judging, right? And then you connect to the judgment. And when you've raised your awareness of sensations, which is the first step, then you can progress to emotion. And remember, take baby steps, because this is not easy. And depends on how much of your life you've shut down your emotions, and depends on your early experiences, how your family of origin was treating emotion. Most family of origins, well, particularly in my day, there was no such thing as emotion, and don't be stupid, just move on, don't be silly. And now we know emotion is extremely important. And the easiest emotion for me, it might sound a bit strange, but the easiest emotion for me is a feeling of sadness. And I feel sad in my chest. Now remember, everybody's different, so mine is in my chest. It feels like an aching, low energy in my chest. And you don't need to give meaning to the emotion. The meaning is cognitive, it's not feeling. It doesn't matter what's triggered this emotion, you just need to feel it. If you get caught up in the reasons you're feeling sad or the story about sadness, like I could make up the story of why I'm sad with 100 different stories, and it doesn't matter because I just come back to the feeling in my chest and we've labelled that feeling sadness. It's just about feeling it in the moment. And this takes practice. So that's the first step. And just be gentle, be kind with yourself. This is not easy. Now, feeling is sometimes mixed up with wallowing. Now, these two things are not the same. Feeling in the way that I mean feeling is just feeling. It's not getting stuck in your story, because to make up a story about this sensation in your body is thoughts and criticisms and memories and all kinds of things. And it's not about getting stuck in your judgment, it's going around and round in your head. It is when you find yourself getting stuck and those thoughts are going over and over and over again, when you find yourself wallowing or getting stuck, that's okay. Just come back to the feeling in the way that I mean feeling is just feeling. It is not getting stuck in your story. It is not getting stuck in your judgment. It is not repeating the same thought over and over again. When you find yourself wallowing or getting stuck, just come back to the feeling a sensation or an emotion in that moment. Feeling is not being stuck in the past or attempting to predict the future. So we want to keep coming back to the now. And when we're talking about wallowing, that's painful. You might feel stuck. And if you feel stuck, that's okay, because when you realise you're stuck, bring your attention to the feeling of stuck. Now that feeling is different for everybody in your body, but it might feel like there's no movement in your body. You may feel lethargy, that low energy. Whatever wallowing feels like to you, the trick is to feel the wallowing. I hear people say, don't judge or don't wallow. But when you tell yourself not to judge, that's a judgment. And I call that judging the judge. So if you judge the judge, then you connect to the judge. That's a bit of a funny one, judge the judge. And I'll clarify that one because it's a bit confusing. So judge the judge is when you are judging yourself for judging. That'll take a bit of getting used to. And feeling is not analysing, because people get that mixed up too. And one way of distinguishing between feeling and analysing is considering that feeling is in your body and analysing is in your head. Now, as I've said before, I'm not describing science here because they would have a lot more complexity around it, but in the practical sense of being human, that's what we do. We feel our body and then we feel our thoughts, or we can hear our thoughts. And when we become analytical, it's a bit of a rescue actually, feeling analytical, but when you know that you're being analytical, you tend to judge yourself and the reasons for your feelings or your behaviour. And when you analyse your partner, you're just judging. It's not your job to analyse yourself or anyone else. Your job is to be aware of yourself, and your friends take care of themselves. They deal with their own awareness. It's not your job to be telling anyone about them. The way your focus is on you rather than getting into gossip or judgment of other people, you become skilled at taking care of your own emotional needs. You have plenty of space to be aware of others. One way of distinguishing between feeling and analysing is considering that feeling is in your body and analysing is in your head. Now, as I've said before, this is not strictly science, but as a human being, that's how it feels in our moment by moment life. You tend to judge yourself and your reasons for your behaviour. When you analyse your partner, you're just judging. And it's not your job to judge yourself or anyone else. Your job is just to take care of your own awareness and your own development, and let your friends and partners take care of themselves. That way, your focus is on you rather than getting into gossip or judgment of other people. And when you become skilled at taking care of your own emotional needs, you have plenty of space to be aware of others. And that becomes a choice rather than a need. On the other hand, when you're analysing other people, you're judging them, and that's not your job. It is also none of your business what others think of you. Now stay with that idea for a while. It's quite deep. I'll say it again. It's none of my business what you think of me. So it's none of your business what others think of you. So to recap today's podcast, I was talking about what a feeling is and practicing a new skill and learning how to feel. You've got many, many moments. You've got thousands of moments to practice each day. And then I spoke about what feeling is not. It's not wallowing, because wallowing is just like a broken record in your head. And feeling is not analysing, because that's in your head as well, judging yourself or others. So the homework for this week is I want you to practice feeling the sensations in your body and pay attention to when you're thinking or analysing rather than feeling. And notice the difference between them. As usual, I want you to be patient with yourself. This is a new skill. It's not easy. And you need to be open to failing a lot too when you're practicing. And pay attention to the moment that you notice yourself judging yourself or anyone else. It has become a habit, so just take it easy and be curious. It may take a few days for you to get the hang of it. Just be patient with yourself. So our next podcast is identifying your underlying assumptions. I wonder if people know what assumptions are. We'll have a look at that next week. We'll see you next time.
Well, that's a wrap. The Emotion Connection is produced by Sharon Faye and her team at sharonfaye.com. With a vision to help people feel, this is just one way we're spreading the word. Sharon Faye is an engaging speaker with a compelling message. Book her for your next conference to ensure a unique and memorable experience for your audience. We encourage you to engage with Sharon through the podcast. You can also email Sharon directly, sharon@sharonfaye.com. We'd love to hear from you. The Emotion Connection, Season 2, hosted by Sharon Faye. Visit sharonfaye.com to learn more or book Sharon for your next event. See you next time.